going to be discussing more on the topic of empowering youth in Rwanda, definitely in this period of time that we are in, of the elections and campaigning, the role and the impact of the 2024 Rwandan presidential and parliamentary elections. So we are going to be discussing more as a youth, also, but also the president of Arika Alum Association. Are going to be discussing more and get to know more about your ideas. What do you think? And here as a youth, your role in these upcoming elections, especially this time that we are in the campaign, to have so many people, so many candidates that are really now on the campaigns. So we'd love about getting to know more about who is Ernest Mogisha, and then we'll be diving into the whole conversation.
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to thank you so much for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be here. So simply, Ernest Mogisha is a young professional. I recently graduated from the Rwanda Institute for Conservation Agriculture, RICA, and I was privileged to be voted as the president of the Alumni Association of the university. So speaking about the ongoing elections, it gives me like this sense of understanding that the Rwandan youth, we do have the big part to play, because the country that we are seeing today, when you look back to the history, it was built out of the efforts of the people who were youth at the moment. And today we call them the elders, but if they weren't like willing to make much efforts to do something, we wouldn't be having the country that we're having today. So I will first of all say that it's a very big responsibility for the youth to be part of these elections, to understand that these elections are the ones that will predict the future of the country. The one will be voted as the president, regardless of which party they're coming from. He or she will be the one to like give the picture of the country that we want in the future. So it is really important for us as youth to take a big part in the elections that are ongoing.
Yes, as a youth and a person who was voted by your peers to be in, let's say, a position of power concerning your school and also the different things that the Alumni Association gets to deal with. What do you think the importance of the rule is in making sure that they have the opportunity to vote as well? Voting is one, but also having the opportunity to have a say in their future, in terms of choosing their president, but also the parliamentary elections, but most importantly the president, because he is the bigger figure and he's the one who's going to be leading the country. So what do you think is the importance of giving the youth an opportunity to have a say in their future?
That's a pretty good question. First of all, allow me to use the demographic significance in this question. When you look at the latest report by the NISR, the National Institute for Statistics of Rwanda, you see that the youth between the ages of 14 and 35, they are 5,200,000 people, accounting for almost 40% of the whole country. So this is a very significant number, and we can never sit down and say, no, we can never ignore that big number. And it is very critical to understand that the role that can be played by youth, it will have a significance in the future time to come. And when youth are given the opportunity like to participate in these elections, we are like giving them the understanding that what we are doing today is the responsibility that we allow them, you know, to have further responsibilities in the future. So this number, this huge number of young people that we have in the country can play a significant role in saying, you know, as the 40% of this country, if we choose this specific person, we are very sure that whatever is going to happen, we are aware of that specific thing. So I would emphasize that young people, we get to be on the front line to make sure that we participate, because it's really important not only to us in the present, but also in the future generations, because we are young today, but let's say in the 30 years, we won't be young anymore. We'll be having children, absolutely. And if we do not act today, we can never sit and say our future is protected. So we need, first of all, to understand that it's really important for us to participate in these elections as a way of like paving the better future, paving the way for a better future that we envision.
Yes, what do you think about the political education, information that young people have these days? Do you think it's enough? And what do you think should be done in terms of like, because right now, as we said, the campaigns are starting. So many political candidates are out, presidential candidates and parliamentary candidates are out going to discuss about their manifestos, stuff like that. Do you think there is enough information for young people to get involved, for young people to be, okay, I'm voting for this person will do this. Do you think there is enough? And what should be done for that political education among youth to be increased?
Thank you so much. So you now allow me to go on the political side of things. And I cannot say that I am, trying to stand on one side or the other side. But let me give a little bit about the political side of the thing. When you look at the manifesto of these, let's say the current people who are running, we have two parties and one independent candidate. I was reading the manifesto of RPF from 2024 to 2029. So you see that they do have these three main pillars. They say we are focusing on the economic transformation. Economic transformation, the main goal is to accelerate the sustainable economic growth based on investments, knowledge, and of course the natural resources to make sure that every Rwandan is like the life of every Rwandan is improved. So at the center of the theory of change of RPF is one thing, like the Rwandan citizen. So the youth, I cannot say that we are having this enough information about what's going on. But I think that there is a big need to make sure that the youth are engaged, are informed about what's going on. And I can give a tangible example. Today we are in the digital era, and you can see like the people between the ages of 15 and 35 or 30, almost everyone is having a smartphone, if I'm not mistaken. For those mainly those ones in Kigali, almost everyone is having a smartphone. So when you wake up early in the morning, you know that it is the time for elections. Very soon you're voting for our president. And you just wake up, you go to Instagram, you do not want to know what's going on. That itself shows that you are not willing to know, like, where is the country moving to? What is the progress of my nation? So looking at that itself, it gives another understanding that young people, we need, first of all, to understand what is going on. Because those people who are running, they're having their own agendas. And these agendas, at the end of the day, if we vote for them, they are going to affect all of us collectively. So young people, we need to, first of all, understand what is going on. For example, if you can maybe surprise one youth on the streets and ask them, what is manifesto? I'm not sure if everyone is going to be like, manifesto, and stuff. So it's clear that the information about the political side of things, on the side of youth, they tend to think that maybe those are the things for the old people. Then we tend to forget that before they became old, they were young like us. We can never realize the future if we do not foresee it today. So I think the youth need to leverage the digital era that we are in, the technology, to educate themselves about what's going on, because everything is available online. Because if you visit the RPF website, if you visit the Democratic Green Party website, everything is there. You can see like their plans, the vision 2024, 2029, everything is available. So the problem is on the side of youth. And I think that the government has tried to do everything possible to make sure that youth are connected. We can have access to internet. We are even able to have some of the platforms where we can, meet with the leaders, some of the youth programs. All of those things are the opportunities for youth to make sure that they understand and they learn about the political side of their nation. Unfortunately, we tend, I don't know where we go with that understanding, we tend to think that maybe politics shouldn't be our concern. So I think youth needs to educate themselves about what's going on.
They need to step it up.
Of course, they need to make sure that they, they make the effort to understand what's going on. We can never escape that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very true. And we were talking about this earlier of how the youth need to make an informed decision. And the only way you can make an informed decision is if you understand all the information that you need to know about each candidate, like you said, reading their manifesto and understanding the different ways in which they are going to utilize their term. And so my question to you is, what do you think about the turn-up of the youth in terms of the campaigns so far? Do you think that there is a significant increase in the participation, not only for the election, because that hasn't reached yet, but so far the campaigns, social media? Do you see that there is a huge movement in terms of youth participating in spreading awareness of the campaign, election information, turning up for the campaign sites? What do you think about that in your perception?
Yes, in my perspective, I think that young people in Rwanda have now kind of realized what is going on, because when something has happened in one of the campaign movement, let's say maybe one candidate has gone to Musanze and they have spoken one thing, after some, maybe let's say 2 hours, you see short videos are trending across all of the networks. And you can see that youth are very keen to understand, to know what is going on. And about the participation, I'm very sure that youth have started to understand and to participate in this, because I know some of the young people who have stepped up and they were like, we need to go into this, we need our voices to be heard, and they have tried to do that. And leveraging the technology and the digital platforms, social media, I have also seen some of the Twitter accounts of some Rwandans, young people, who are saying, what's going on is this. We need to encourage people to know what's happening in Rwanda. I've also seen a video established by the Embassy of Rwanda in the United States. I could see the young people there, very excited, They were the first-time voters, but they were really excited to vote and to cast the votes. That's a very good example that young people are willing to participate in what's going on or in the elections of the country. The other thing is, I noticed in Nigeria, these Nigerians established what we call Not Too Young to Run movement. The Not Too Young to Run movement, it is a campaign that was made by the Nigerians to make sure that the elders understand the young people. They should consider the young people's ideas in making the decisions. They should also include them in the, on the platforms to allow them to run for some of the political positions. And in Rwanda is one very good example. I know some of the friends that we met in different platforms, especially Youth Connect, because I was privileged once to moderate the event. So I could see some of the young people my age who are in the parliament, the others are, in the General Assembly in the East Africa, things like that. So you can see that the progress now is very good, and young people are really participating in this. So those campaigns that are trending across the social media, it's a very good example that young people are really understanding what's going on and that they are willing to take part in what is happening in their country.
Yes. What specific policies do you, as a young person, as a youth, what specific policies do you want the candidates in the elections? For example, parliamentary seats, those ones, we are voting them and they are going to be the one making decision for the country, for the nation. What are those specific, on your side, specific policies you want them to be addressing? And if they are the one to pull you to be on your, if you want to be, they have to choose you, if you have to choose them, if you are going to cast your vote to those ones, what are those specific policies on your side that you think should be addressed by different candidates, presidential, parliamentary elections?
That's a very interesting question. But speaking about the policies and stuff, everything should be about a person, a Rwandan. as long as a Rwandan is left out, nothing I consider as important. So as long as a Rwandan citizen is considered, any policy that is positive towards the development, prosperity of a Rwandan citizen, I will go with that. So I cannot mention specifically that I want this specific policy, because in my perspective, as someone who graduated from conservation agriculture, I might be biased about agriculture and conservation. But as long as this policy is positive and it is citizen-centered, I will really go with that. So I challenge every single candidate, those 3 presidential candidates that we have, to make sure that whatever you do, I don't care about the agenda that you're having. If your agenda is not Rwandan citizen-centric, I'm not with you. But if your agenda is about the development, improvement, and prosperity of a Rwandan citizen, you have my vote.
Yeah, what do you think should be done to increase the turnout of youth? Because Martin asked you a question on what do you think is happening, how do you see the campaigns and stuff like that, but what do you think should be done to really increase the turnout? Because we still have many days to campaigns and there are 20 days to the elections, you know, for the youth to really be involved and then to see a huge number of them voting on that day, 15th.
Okay, great. So what I think can be done specifically for the youth to feel like engaged, or to increase the number of them who are participating, first of all, is to give them the platform, give them the responsibility. Because if you're having 40% of the country are young people, and you are running for a specific position and you're leaving them behind, it's a very big mistake. So if you're having maybe a campaign in Muhanga, make sure that among the delegation that you have young people. Do not only go with those very old people, say, this is my political staff. They are your current political staff, but still you will need the young, how can I call it? Can I call it the young blood? Yeah. If I'm not mistaken. So make sure that you include these young people in what you're doing. Give them the responsibilities. Let's say maybe you want to give a space for maybe 2 people to give the speeches in what you're doing, or comments. Say, I need 1 young person. What do you think can I do to improve what is happening in the country now? So when a young person is given the opportunity to do something, even though maybe they may be afraid, but at the end of the day they say, next time I must make sure that I improve so that I will not fail the one who has had this trust in me. So they should make sure that they include the young people in whatever they do. And in case of Rwanda, I can affirm that they're trying, because when you look at the campaigns, you see the young people are participating, they are like giving like their perspectives. You look at those campaigns maybe in Rubavu, you can see the young people are very energetic, they're really shouting out, they're really excited, and it's showing that in one way or another, if you can engage the young people, or show them that they have a specific role to play, they are really into it. So I once again challenge those candidates to make sure that in whatever they do, they give some of the key roles to the young people.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you very much. And as we wind up, maybe the last question is, what advice could you give the youth as we gear up for the election period, but not only mainly concentrating on the election period, but for the youth in general to be more active, take up a more active role in their society, in terms of being open to putting themselves in positions where they can make a difference or even make decisions. What advice could you give them?
The advice that I can give to the fellow young people, we are living in the country, and this country today is being celebrated by the whole world. The whole world is really celebrating the country today. And when you look at the country that's being celebrated today, it has been built by the people who were young 30 years ago. And we are young today. I challenge you, before I just give you the advice, do you think in the 30 years to come, the whole world will be still celebrating the country as they are doing today? The only way for them to keep celebrating this country is that you and we work together to make sure that we maintain the achievements that have been achieved by our elders. And the other advice that I can give is that you should remember that we are the generation which is present today, and we hold the future of this country in our hands. If we do not look through the future, if we do not act today, we can never sit down and think that things will come from the sky. We are advised to make sure that we think today of what can be done today so that we can ensure a brighter future that we are envisioning. So I am personally willing to play my role, and I can ask if you are willing to play your role.
Yeah, definitely. That's really great. Thank you so much for that advice, for that challenging question that I think the youth can be able to think about and hopefully come up with an answer that better suits them.